Girls, 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 girls. I am beyond disappointed in your grades this term. Your homework over this weekend was to have a singular conversation without talking about boys, berating women for enjoying traditionally feminine things, or othering yourself because you have basic interests like watching anime, gaming, or eating a large pizza on your own. And yet, you all failed miserably. I really didn't want to do this, but you leave me no choice. Girls, I'm going to be showing you what your future will look like if you don't start taking this class seriously. Turn off the lights.
Oh my god! What is that?
To be clear, this content is not intended to mock or attack anyone personally. It is created for comedy and commentary purposes, focusing on the behavior shown and the potential consequences of these actions. The goal is to discuss the content itself, not to criticize or drag the individuals behind it. That being said, enjoy and thank you for watching. Now, we all know someone with pick me tendencies. Maybe we even used to be one of them. And honestly, you can't fully blame younger women and girls for it. Society as a whole has basically been grooming us to shape ourselves in a way that appeases men since before we could even spell the word patriarchy. I remember when I was younger, a reverend sister who also happened to be a family friend told me off because I didn't know how to cook. Now, I'm thinking she's about to say, who's going to help your mum around the house? Which, fair enough, but no. She looks me dead in the eye and goes, how are you going to cook for your husband? Husband? Mind you, I was 9. At that age, I still thought all boys had the lurgies and ate their bogies. Before I go into this topic, let me just clarify a few things. Having interests that skew more masculine doesn't make you a pick-me. Hell, even if you take up these interests just to score points of guys, it still doesn't make you a pick-me. A bit pathetic. Alright, calm down. But that's fine. I'm included. I once spent the whole night studying J. Cole's album in full just because my crush talked about him in passing that day. But I was a teenager, so let's not do too much. And I must say, hell of an album. But yeah, to be clear, what separates boy crazy girls from pick-me's is that pick-me's intentionally put women down or endanger them in exchange for male validation. For example, I love J. Cole's new album. Unlike Vanessa, who listens to girly music like Little Mix. Blech. Yeah, I have a lot of male friends. I just happen to have more in common with them. I prefer males as friends. Girls are just way too much drama and they're always jealous of me. Okay, now that we're clear on that, let's get into the evolution of pick-me's to boy moms. Pick-me's creative outlets usually consist of TikToks, Instagram quotes, and passive-aggressive subtweets, amongst other things.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
Through these posts, they tried to other themselves from the average woman in hopes of catching the attention of men casually scrolling through their timeline on their lunch break, looking for sports updates and possibly swimsuit pics. Usually this phase is outgrown once young women realize that there are far more fulfilling aspirations in life besides men wanting to fuck you. But what happens to the pick-me's who don't grow out of it? What happens to the ones that are picked? Does the need for validation finally subside now that the end goal has been reached? Unfortunately not. It mutates into something more sinister and disturbing. Boy moms. You know, I'm crazy. I can tell you, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. I'm mad. See? Before we get into that, let me just clarify what a boy mom is and isn't. Being a mother of boys and loving them does not make you a quote-unquote boy mom. Being protective and wanting to be super involved in their development does not make you a boy mom. What makes you a boy mom is... Now let me just take a deep breath for this part. or mixed with your boy mum is showing preferential treatment for your sons over your daughters purely because they are male. Putting down your daughters or hypothetical daughters based on their gender reinforce sexist double standards whilst simultaneously minimizing and excusing your son's bad behavior and holding girls at a higher standard. Loving your boys to an extent where you see other women and girls as competition for their affection. You display any form of intimacy or behavior that places your son in a role that should belong to his father. For example, very painful. I love my boys. They're everything to me. I love my boys. I'm so glad I don't have a daughter. There's only space for one PMS ambition in this house. Alright? I want my boys to understand consent and be respectful towards women. Always to be boys. Besides, did you see what she was wearing? Slut! I'm never the overprotective. I really don't want to see him hurt. No other woman's gonna have his heart the way I do. So yeah, we can have him for tonight. But he knows what home is.
Well, okay. Well, can we just start making our way to the prom now? Yet the driver's been waiting a while and he's threatening to cancel, that's all.
What rings true is that from pygmies of all kinds, single, taken, married, with or without children, to boy moms, is that the need for male validation is never truly satiated. In both dynamics, there is an overarching theme of internalized misogyny.
Oh my God.
Pygmies can be in their happy relationships and still feel compelled to tear down other women who aren't as devoted to pleasing men as they are. Like, babe, you got the man. You're picked. Leave the rest of us alone. Boy moms, on the other hand, often married or still partnered with their son's father, will still go out of their way to display affection towards their sons in ways that veer uncomfortably close to being inappropriate. The main platform for this display of odd behavior seems to be TikTok, where you can find hundreds of videos of moms projecting wild, fantastical scenarios onto toddlers, often involving a hypothetical girl as their rival. While watching these TikToks, am I the only one wondering where their partner is? Like, an important question is, who are these grown women actually seeking validation from? Because it's not their husbands or their partners. There's a clear desire to shape their boys into the kind of men that they want, simply because they're impressionable. Think about it. Why are they seeking approval from their son when there's a literal grown man at home? It's a subtle way of controlling how their children think, feel and behave. And there's something deeply unsettling about this desire to mold their children to fit their own expectations. I'm sorry to say it, but there is a word for that. Teach your son to cook so he isn't impressed by another girl's mid-food is, I'm sorry, insane behavior. Why not teach him because, it's an important life skill? Also, what if your son is gay? What if your son isn't your son anymore? It's bizarre to project these unhinged hypotheticals onto a little boy who still believes in a boogeyman and doesn't even have the motor skills to tie their own shoes. You could argue that these TikToks are harmless fun and in a bubble, sure, but they reveal the values that these mums are trying to instill in their sons. Over time, this behavior teaches boys to center themselves in relationships, to expect women to compete for their attention, and to internalize entitlement over affection. If these patterns persist, it can affect not just the boys' emotional development, but also how they treat partners in the future, fostering insecurity, possessiveness, or unrealistic expectations in romantic relationships. What starts as cute or fun now could have serious long-term effects, which stunts their independence and emotional growth. The way these boys are raised often comes at the expense of learning basic life skills. Cleaning, empathy, accountability. These lessons are either taught poorly or not at all because the focus is on protecting their bond with their son and making sure no hypothetical girl steals their attention. The result? Boys who grow up charming on the surface but unequipped for real life responsibilities. They might struggle with managing a household, taking responsibility for mistakes, or understanding how to treat a partner as an equal. And this video isn't about shaming women for loving their children. It's about recognizing the long-term impact of their parenting choices. When basic skills, emotional intelligence, and accountability are deprioritized, the future relationships of these boys can be full of frustration, imbalance, and unnecessary conflict. To end this video on a lighter note, not all hope is lost. We fortunately live in a world where many women are making the active choice to decenter men, and in a result of that, there are thankfully many mothers who intentionally focus on instilling healthy traits during their son's developmental stages. And for the men raised under less ideal conditions, they also have the opportunity to reflect, cut that emotional umbilical cord, and realize that the way that they were taught to relate to partners isn't healthy. Some take that journey, others...
Mommy's big strong boy.
My name is Shahid, and this is my mom, aka my best friend.
Whenever we're out dancing, people think we're a couple. They don't think of us as being mother-son.
Don't you want to kiss my little pinky toe?
I'm Austin, and this is my beautiful mom.
My little baby.
Mom.
I might be a little bit too involved.
We have become almost an inseparable pair.
Me and my mom like to coordinate. My mom really doesn't think anybody is good enough for me, but we know we can't date each other.
Huh?
But we know we can't date each other.
Huh?
But we know we can't date each other.
Yeah, some still have a lot to learn, but that choice is for them to make, and ultimately growth is a personal journey. As K. Michelle wisely said, you can raise a man. And honestly, you shouldn't have to. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for your time. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think boy moms are capable of change, or have some gone too far in their need for male validation to realize the error in their ways? Until next time, where I will hopefully have a better outro. Bye!